It's let's talk. Let's jump right in. Hey guys, welcome to the second Let's Talk episode where I talk to you about stuff that I dislike in video game things right now, like EA messing up. It probably be mostly about EA. So let's jump right in. Okay, so I'd like to talk about Ubisoft, and this is kind of old news. I get it. I'm kind of an old news person. I never get to things in time. But this is uh, about Ubisoft locking their games at 30 frames per second. And this is going to be real quick. I just want to kind of put my 2 cents into this. I know I'm a little late and it's a little weird, but so Ubisoft has been locking their games at 30 frames per second. Now, I know that doesn't sound bad, and at least it isn't below 30 frames, and it runs okay. But it's not like it's impossible. Like they always say, I always hear like, when people ask Ubisoft and people like them, why do you lock your games at 30 frames per second? And they say one of two things. Well, the console can't run that well, or maybe, console can't run that well, or we can't get the game optimized that well. And no, you can. I've seen games that have had less than a year to be worked on have 60 frames per second on them. It is possible, and it's not an excuse to say that these overpowered consoles. I have a PS4. It is an overpowered console, not as much as a PC, but it's still overpowered. It's powerful enough to run 1080p at 60 frames per second. 60 frames per second. It's not that hard. I mean, sure, I can't code and I can't make video games, but I know for people who make video games for a living, who've made some of the best games for console, like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, they can do it. I know they can. And here's the second excuse they use. They also use, this has only been used once, and I can't say it's a continuous excuse, but this one also made me laugh a little bit. They visited a school in France, some guys at Ubisoft, and one of the students asked why they were locking their games at 30 frames per second, and he said because the eye can only see at 29 frames per second. First of all, that's a bunch of bullcrap. When the human brain is just resting, like you're not excited, you're just kind of resting, your brain processes 30 frames per second. Now, when you're excited or you get your blood pumping, like video games make you do, especially Ubisoft games, which are mostly action-based, you're gonna need to have 60 frames per second to make it look smooth when you're excited, like when you get your blood pumping and that adrenaline pumping. I just don't get it. And I've kind of been spoiled. Yeah, I probably just played my first few 60 frames per second games, like before the PS4. I really 60 frames per second games were pretty far between. There wasn't that many of them, and I kind of got spoiled when I started playing The Last of Us and Need for Speed and stuff. I think Need for Speed's 60 frames, but stuff like that. It just looks real nice. It makes you feel smooth. It gets you into the game a little bit more. It makes the game a little bit better of an experience. And why I'm saying this is because the 18th, I think, when I'm posting this, it'd probably be 3 days before this, maybe a little later. Well, they had released a very anticipated game for me. Like, I've been anticipating this game since I beat Far Cry 3. It is Far Cry 4. Man, does the game look fun, but the game looks choppy. And I was watching some gameplay on YouTube of it, because I am not yet going to get it because I am broke. But it just people are boosting it up to 60 frames per second, and it just looks choppy. Because YouTube can run 60 frames per second, and you just watch it there, and you just kind of feel sad for the people that have to play it on 60 frames. Just sad. I just think there's no excuse for people or any medium today to not put out videos in 60 frames. No matter whether you're making a movie, a television show, a video game, I don't know, your indie movies that you watch with your friends once or twice and then nobody ever hears about it. It doesn't matter. We have the technology. People are YouTubers who that don't have big development teams behind them. They upload at 60 frames per second. They export, after editing their videos, they export at 60 frames. It's not that hard. I mean, of course, I'm being kind of hypocritical. I know I don't upload at 60 frames, but that's because I'm still pretty much a noob. But, like, I know when I get, like, there, when I know I get the chance, I will upload at 60 frames one day. But, like, I don't like it when people don't upload in 60 frames because, like, people call it, 30 frames cinematic. It's cinematic. No, sure, if you were, like, if it was, like, 50 years ago, I'm probably not sure, it's probably less than that. But I just wanted to throw my two cents in there. Ubisoft, put your shit together. I don't know who's calling the shots and making you do this, whether they're threatening not to sell your game on a console. That's like the leading theory why you're doing this. It's because Xbox or somebody like that is threatening not to put your game on their console, or like put less time on like the front page. Don't listen to them. You make art. Far Cry 3 was a really good game. I really enjoyed it, and I just want Far Cry 4 to be better than that. I mean, Ubisoft, I've liked you ever since I got my Xbox and I started playing Assassin's Creed. Come on, guys, you've really been taking a downhill spiral for a few years now, and I don't want you to end up like EA. So, it's been my 6-minute rant. If you're still here, thank you. Yeah, bye. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been Thor's Thunder. Remember to like and subscribe. Check those videos down below, and like right there at the bottom of the screen. Everything I talked about today will be in the description if I needed a link. Yeah, and congratulations for being awesome and watching my video. See you guys.